All right, so I said the next episode was going to be underrated, overrated on holidays. So what I decided to do was, in the US, we have holidays that most people at least recognize, celebrate, whatever. And then we have federally recognized holidays. So holidays that the federal government acknowledges and typically gives federal workers the day off. So I didn't know which way I was going to go with this, and I just pulled up a list of holidays, some of which are federal holidays, others are not public holidays, some are just regional. And so I just said, I'll just go through this list. So what I have is from officeholidays.com, and we are going to go through the list. And I have to pick. That's the rule with overrated, underrated, is I have to choose one or the other. And on some certain rare occasions, I will just say like it's properly rated. So, I mean, that is a disclaimer, but I try to absolutely do my best on making a decision. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? So here we go. This being July 4th, I think we will save 4th of July for last. What I want to do is, I think we're going to start it this way. We're going to go from the next holiday on this list. So for those of you that are watching, what I'm going to do for you is pull up. How should we do this? Yeah, I'll pull it up for you. Okay, so let's flip the screen around here. And for those that are watching, I appreciate the views, but you will not need to watch this podcast in order to follow along. So no worries there. What I want to do though, is I would like to zoom in. These darn Google ads are a little bit of a pain. Looks like Office Holidays needs as much ad revenue as possible. So let's go like this. There we go. Okay. And do we have anything more than comments? Okay, cool. All right, so we have got our holidays here. Like I said, we're going to start it from not the 4th of July. We will start from the very next holiday. So the first one on the list is Labor Day, September 5th. It is a federally recognized holiday, typically the first Monday in September. And being completely honest here, I get Labor Day and Memorial Day mixed up all the time. I never know which one's which. So I'm sure in a couple months, I'm already going to forget that the holiday in September is going to be Labor Day. But I will say that Labor Day is underrated because if you look at where a lot of holidays lie within the calendar year, the US, we don't have tons of summer holidays. So I'm going to say Labor Day is underrated because it's kind of like the last holiday before summer's really over. So I'll say Labor Day is underrated. I'm going to keep a little list here too, just for my own sake. If I have a pen that works. Here we go. Okay, so Labor Day is underrated. What do we have next? Okay, so this one is known by two different names. At the federal level, it is Columbus Day, but in certain regions, they are changing it to Indigenous Peoples Day. I will say, either way, whether it's Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, I will say this one is, I'm going to say it's overrated, okay? So let me put down Columbus or Indigenous people. And here's why. I'm going to say that it's overrated because, first off, if we, let's just play the Columbus Day side of it. I'm going to say it's overrated because we have how can I put this? It's overrated because why are we giving a holiday to somebody regardless of the dark past, okay, of Christopher Columbus's history, right? Regardless, I don't really see why we need to give a federally recognized holiday to somebody that was so far removed from the founding of the United States. So I just don't really get that. And then on the flip side, Indigenous Peoples Day, like either way, I'm saying this is overrated because I think the derivative of Columbus Day, it's overrated to begin with. So like we should just kind of do away with the holiday if we really wanted to. Like I'm all here for holidays, right? But Indigenous Peoples Day, like because of where it stemmed from, like let's just like chill out with it, okay? And it's just another excuse to be as political as possible, which is just annoying. But moving on, Veterans Day. I've gotten to spend Veterans Day with people that are veterans, are family members of veterans, and the reverse side of that, people that, you know, have no affiliation with military whatsoever. So for me, Veterans Day, I'm going to say, ooh, see, this is tough because there's really, for me in my head, there's like no like really strong reason for or against. Veterans Day, I guess, let's go this route, okay? I'm gonna be controversial here. I will say Veterans Day is overrated, and here's gonna be my reason why. I will say Veterans Day is overrated because to me, let's throw it in with Independence Day. Let's throw it in with the 4th of July. And if we're celebrating America, right? Like, let's do it all on July 4th. So that will also be the day that we thank, you know, veterans. Like, that's what I'm going to say. So yes, if I have to give underrated, overrated, I'm going to say Veterans Day is overrated, and we'll give it to, we would just move it to 4th of July, okay? Next one up is Thanksgiving. I'm just gonna go with my own personal opinion on this one. Thanksgiving is, Thanksgiving's underrated, okay? Here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Thanksgiving is underrated because this is a holiday where, as a kid growing up, like the food's great, awesome, like pumpkin pie, whatever. But as I get older, I like this holiday because I like the fall season. It's nice that the holiday is literally just about eating, okay? Like, yes, the history behind it, again, we're getting into, people want to politicize, you know, Thanksgiving as well. But looking back into the history of Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving had good intentions, but again, you're going to find somebody that will politicize pretty much anything under the sun. And this is a holiday that unfortunately falls victim to that. But I think at its core, at its root, you know, it's a very American holiday because, like, obviously not all countries are going to have a Thanksgiving, right? But it's very American in the sense of, like, we just want to get together with our friends and family and watch football and eat food. And so I think that is like a really cool aspect of it. But then also, like, what is wrong with having a holiday to show thanks or give appreciation for whatever, right? Yes, like, history is ugly, you guys, but again, the here and now, like, at least like for my parents, for instance, like when we have Thanksgiving at their house, like my mom always wants to do the, you know, go in a circle and you say what you're thankful for. And it's like, I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm all for it. So I'll say Thanksgiving is still underrated. I think the older I get, the more I'm going to like it because, again, your expectations on that holiday are to eat and you can take a nap in the middle of the day and it's okay. So sign me up for that. The next one is Christmas. Again, I'm just like I'm always going to say that Christmas is underrated just because I love it way too much. I mean, to me, there's not a single thing about the Christmas season that you can replicate any other time of the year. I think in general, like, people just have a more forgiving mindset. They have a more caring approach to things during this time of the year. So like, yeah, sign me up for Christmas 365 days of the year. You'll catch me listening to Christmas music like in the month of July now. Like I'm just too big of a fan of Christmas to ever say that it's overrated. So it's always going to be underrated. I mean, there's so many aspects of Christmas, right? You have like the memory making stuff, like going sledding or reading the night before Christmas, or making gingerbread houses, or baking, or Secret Santa. Like there's so many things that you can do. There's holiday office parties. Like there's so much there that like, and then there's the movies, the music, like, oh, come at me. Like Christmas is just it. Okay, so we're going back to the top of the list now. New Year's, I'm gonna say New Year's is overrated. I've never really cared for New Year's. I'm of this mindset because New Year's resolutions to me are just very annoying because, like, let's say I decide on Christmas Day, I'm like, yep, I'm gonna make a New Year's resolution to not be on my phone that much. It's like, why don't you just do that now? Like, why wait 6 days before New Year? Like, just do it now. I don't like New Year's resolutions because if you want to make a change, you shouldn't need to wait for a day in order to feel motivated enough to do it. So that's one reason I think New Year's is overrated. Second is like all the New Year's parties, not the parties themselves, not like small parties, but like the big like televised New Year's bashes, like stuff like that. To me, that just annoys me a bit because it's just like, I don't know, over publicized, overhyped. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna say New Year's is just overrated. It's cool because you have like a batch of 3 big holidays within the span of like a month. But yeah, I don't know. I've just never been a big New Year's person, and it's cold and just like stay inside. I don't know. Okay, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let's see, MLK. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I mean, okay, let's put it this way. Does the man deserve a holiday? Yes, I would say so. But because of the very next holiday, I'm going to say MLK Day is, will I say it's overrated? Martin Luther King Jr. Day, can I say it's overrated? It's really not though, but then I have to say that it's underrated, and I don't believe it's underrated. I think it's, oh my gosh, am I really gonna do this? Okay, I will give you, here's what I'll do. I'll make a promise. I will only have one properly rated in this holiday overrated, underrated episode. And I'm gonna do it for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I will say it is properly rated, okay? And here's why. So I don't wanna say it's overrated because really what it is a day off of work, right? In remembrance of Martin Luther King. But I can't say it's underrated because like, it's not like, I mean, aside from schools, like they will spend, they will take time for a lesson on Martin Luther King Jr. or the work that he did, how it had a lasting effect, history about his life, so have you. So in that sense, I'm not going to say it's underrated because like when you're learning about who he was, they do take the time and teach you, right? Obviously not on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but I'm hoping most teachers would explain, you know, who this person was, why we have the day off. But I just can't say, it's overrated because of all of the strides that he made in the US. I can't say, you know, that guy didn't deserve a holiday. And I can't say it's underrated because having a day off from work That's pretty significant. So I will say Martin Luther King Jr. Day is properly rated. And that's going to bring us to President's Day, which is the next holiday. And here's why I was so troubled with Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I almost wanted to say it's overrated because President's Day, like, we're not going to have a day for George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or whatever president you want to pick out, right? We have President's Day, so a day for all of the presidents, kind of like how I'm throwing Veterans Day into the 4th of July, right? So because I said that, I almost wanted to say, well, why don't we just turn Martin Luther King Jr. Day into a humanitarians day or a social activists day, which now that I'm saying it, it actually sounds pretty good, because think about how many other people you could also honor or recognize on that day. So I think that, I don't know if I'll go back and say that I think we should rate Martin Luther King Jr. Day as overrated, but because I already said it, so I'll leave it as is. So that takes us to President's Day. President's Day, I will say is, I'll say it's underrated because, and here's why. Because again, if we're looking at the fact that these are, for the most part, federally recognized holidays, you get the day off on President's Day, and let me make sure I make my note here. President's Day, you get the day off. I'm saying it is underrated. You get the day off, but I mean, aside from that, I would say that there's more focus when Martin Luther King Jr. Day comes up. I would say there's more focus, at least in schools, from my experiences, of explaining, recognizing, at least addressing the holiday, right? Where President's Day, I feel like it kind of gets, pushed to the back burner in the sense of, recognizing I don't know if you want to call them contributions or the strides that presidents made in advancing the US. But because it's a national holiday, I think there could be more done. I'm sure there could be more done, whether it's like, I don't know, having like a presidential spotlight on the news, like local news channels, they just decide to discuss a president or two or something, So I'll say it's underrated. I feel like there could be more like educational value behind this holiday, and there's not. So I'll say that. The next holiday we have is Easter, which on this list, if you're watching the video, you see the list. It's not a federally recognized holiday, but it's on the list, so we'll talk about it. Easter, I will say, I'm going to say that Easter is overrated, and it may not so much, it really doesn't have much to do with like the religious aspect of it. For me, it's just like the time of the year. I just don't like the springtime. And because of that, like, I think like, okay, don't get me wrong. I like Easter, like, I don't know if you even want to call it style, but I like the color palette. Like, what do they call that? Like, it's like light colored everything, like baby blue, light yellow, pastels, I think is what it's called. So like, I like the Easter colors, but honestly, to me, it's just a strange holiday where there's like the religious aspect of it is the reason why this holiday exists, but it's pretty much everything else that goes into it that I'm just kind of like, whatever about, like, why? And somebody enlighten me if you know a true reason why, but like, where did the Easter bunny fall into all of this? And why do we eat chocolate eggs? And like, I don't know. So, and yeah, so there's that. Plus, I just really don't like springtime all that much. So I will say Easter is overrated, okay? The next one on the list, again, this is not a public holiday. It is Mother's Day. And I will say that I can't say that Mother's Day is overrated. So I'm going to say Mother's Day is underrated. And maybe it's like, if I had to give a reason why, like, if you're listening to this, you wouldn't be here without your mom. So like, why not give her a day? But here's something, you know what? We're going to go off on a tangent that I've actually wanted to talk about for a while. And I think I'm actually going to start practicing this. Okay. This is just going to be a holidays episode. So I think that, this would give me a reason to say that Mother's Day is overrated though. I won't though. I'll say that Mother's Day is underrated because obviously like the reason we're all here. But hear me out on this. I think what people should do is on your birthday, you should not get gifts. You shouldn't get a birthday cake, anything like that. What should happen is on your birthday, you should treat it like your mother's birthday. Like you should be celebrating your mother because again, if it wasn't like, what did you do on your birthday? You showed up, like, congratulations, like 1 in a million, right? Whatever. Why would you not celebrate your mom? Because she was the one that did all the work. And personally, like, it's like you should almost feel guilty for having your own birthday party. Like, all right, little self-centered of you to be celebrating your birth when all you did was, make an appearance. It was your mom that did all the work. So I'm going to say that's like I said, total side, like tangent there. But yeah, that's what I think. I think like we shouldn't celebrate our own birthday on our birthday. We should celebrate our mothers on our birthday. And then if you guys really want to get to it, what we should do is on our mother's birthday, then go ahead and celebrate yourself. Okay. Because again, if it wasn't for your mom, you wouldn't be here. So on her birthday, that's pretty great because it led to my existence. Right. So that's my own little like spin on, that's my own spin on like how I view birthdays and your mother's birthday. And it just came up on the Mother's Day holiday. So I'll say Mother's Day is underrated because again, I don't think there's such thing as overdoing Mother's Day. But I do think we should celebrate our mothers on our own birthdays. And then on our mom's birthday, then we can celebrate ourselves. And think about it for any of you parents out there that are listening, okay? Whether it's like my parents and my parents' age, or a lot of my friends are now parents. Congratulations, everybody. But think about it in this aspect, right? Let's say you have 2 kids or 3 kids or 4, whatever. Okay, let your imagination ride on this one. If you have a bunch of kids, imagine what that would be like with 3 kids every year, right? 3 kids, the way that our world works right now is 3 kids, you celebrate one kid's birthday, then another kid's birthday, then another. And then the next year you do it all over again. That's 3 times. That's 3 parties. That's 3 cakes. That's 3 headaches. That's 3 times that you have to be making sure you don't forget gifts or that you have the right gifts. Okay. But if we did it my way and we celebrated our mothers on our birthdays, okay, the parents, you don't have to worry about gifts, right? You'll be getting them. Okay. And then when it's your birthday, so if I'm a mother, right, when it's my birthday, then you're like, okay, well, today's the day that we celebrate all of my kids because if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be here. Then what you're doing is you're looping 3 birthdays onto one day. I think that's killer. I think that's a great idea personally, because if I have 5 kids, I celebrate them all on my birthday on one day. That's it. I think that's a good idea. So let me know what you guys think about that. Because there's some things like in the back of my head that I'm like, geez, that's a really good idea. And there's other things that I'm like, that's an idea. I don't know if it's good or bad. And then there's other times where it's like, this was just straight up a bad idea. This is one of those things that I genuinely think is a good idea. And I would love for somebody to like, give me a reason why not. Give me one reason why it's not a good idea to celebrate your mom on your own birthday. And then on your mom's birthday, then you get to celebrate all of the kids. Okay, so long story short, Mother's Day is underrated still. The next one is Memorial Day. This is a federal holiday. It is the last Monday in May. Again, this is the holiday that I get confused with Labor Day like all the time. Memorial Day, okay, and here's the thing. So Memorial Day, I'm gonna say is, oh, I almost said it. Memorial Day. So I wanted to say Memorial Day is overrated because, again, if you are thinking about like the memory of somebody that you've lost, initially when I heard Memorial Day, my head immediately went to like veterans, right? Veterans that had lost their lives, you know, and it's a day for them. But then I was thinking like Memorial Day really is about those that you've lost. And if it wasn't about that, and if it was just about, you know, like veterans that had, you know, passed on, I'm like, let's just throw that into 4th of July, Independence Day, that is now joined with, what did I say? Veterans Day, right? So then Independence Day turns into Independence Day plus Memorial Day plus Veterans Day, and we just call it the 4th of July. But then I'm thinking like memorial in the sense of like remembering the ones that you've lost. So I'm going to say Memorial Day is actually underrated. Okay, I'll say Memorial Day is underrated because like I just don't think that. I actually, you know what, this is an underrated holiday. This is a good holiday because it gives you at least one day to hopefully stop and reflect on people that you've lost. And I really kind of like that idea. Not like I'm legit, you guys, I've never given Memorial Day any thought until just now, clearly. But yeah, I kind of like that. Memorial Day, it gives you the opportunity to, yeah. Okay, Memorial Day is underrated. I'll give it to it. All right, next one on the list is the newest holiday. It is Juneteenth. Okay, Juneteenth. It is a federal holiday, but like it's federally recognized, but not all states, if any, officially have like recognized it in the sense of like you get the day off of work. So I don't know. That's interesting to me that it's federally recognized, but jobs don't really do anything about it. Anyway, I will say that Juneteenth is overrated, and here's why, because I'm a history buff, and it just annoys me that it's essentially the Juneteenth is to celebrate, in a broad sense, okay, in a big sense, the emancipation of Black people in America, right? And here's why it's overrated, because like in my history thinking mind, you need to have it, I don't even know when it was, like December or something, when the amendment came out outlawing slavery in the United States. That's why I think Juneteenth is overrated, just because for the most part, like it doesn't even, it falls, let me look this up. I'm gonna look this one up right now and share this with you guys. Let's just type in like, what is Juneteenth, okay? Because I know I read this, and even when I like learned this, it still annoyed me. Okay, this is Wikipedia. I'm just giving us all a basis to start from. Juneteenth is a federal holiday in the US commemorating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. Juneteenth marks the anniversary of the announcement of General Order Number 3 by Union Army General Gordon Granger on June 19, 1865, proclaiming freedom for enslaved people in Texas. Okay, now my issue with it is if you type in, when were slaves freed, I guess we'll just leave it as when were slaves freed. President Abraham Lincoln, this is from archives.gov. President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, blah, 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 blah. That's what annoys me about it, is the historical inaccurate, I'm not even gonna say inaccuracy, but I just don't get why Juneteenth, why it's not on January 1st. Like if it's about, if the big picture is about the freeing of slaves in America, let's do it on the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Like I don't know. That one just frustrates me. Because to me, again, as like a history buff, it feels like we're trying to skew history. Because what I can see is like 10 or 15 years from now, kids are going to grow up, they're going to know about Juneteenth, and they're going to grow up with the assumption that, yes, on June 19th, the slaves were freed. But that's not right. So that to me, like that's why I'm going to say it's overrated. Okay, next one, Father's Day. Just like Mother's Day, I'm going to say Father's Day is underrated. Because again, if you didn't have your dad to do their part in you breathing life, you wouldn't be around. So I'm going to say that. And then that brings us to today, July 4th, Independence Day. I honestly didn't think that this one was going to be like a tough one to consider. 4th of July is, okay, let's put it this way. If I just think like 4th of July, I'd be like, boom, underrated. But when I think Independence Day, it makes me question it a little bit. I will say the 4th of July is, oh my gosh, 4th of July is, it's underrated, okay? I'll definitively say 4th of July is underrated. Here's a couple of reasons why. One, I feel like in the last 5 to 10 years, national pride has gone down, or I just remember after 2001, it just seemed like, and maybe again, a lot of it has to do with my age, I'm sure. Like I just wasn't aware, knowledgeable, or exposed to that type of information. But I just feel like after 2001, the country, it was just like the most unified it's had ever been. There were no political parties. There was no, not obviously take it with a grain of salt, but like prejudice wasn't as focused on, like we were just appreciative to be in our country with each other. And I feel like since then, I know like, yeah, that's over 20 years ago, but like since then, we've just kind of drifted all apart from each other. And the US used to be, you know, we're going to embrace differences. We're going to accept our flaws. And the great part about our country was that where one of us lacks, we've got others to fill in the void, right? And I kind of think that that's gone away. It's more now about forcing each other to accept belief systems that you probably never change somebody's belief systems. If you do, great. But we've just lost this kind of integrity for Americans as a whole, right? Like we're flawed. We are not the greatest country. I don't think there's a greatest country in the world, but like we've got our problems. Yes, we have our issues, but we don't have to tear each other down, you know? Like what's wrong with recognizing our flaws and saying, you know, unfortunately, I can't agree with you in that. You can still work with somebody, even if you don't agree with them or what they're doing. Like the government, ideally, that's what they should be doing, you know, and really what sparked that point right there is I had watched a clip of Obama and McCain when they were running for president, and a couple of these McCain campaign goers basically got up with the mic and said, you know, I'm afraid, I don't trust Obama, and he's this and he's that, and McCain just very eloquently, and you know, I'm not going to get into politics behind either of them or what they did in their career, but he just very eloquently, you know, took the mic back and said, no, I mean, that's not right. And he explained, you know, obviously, I think I can do a better job than the other candidate. But at the same time, you have no reason to be afraid, right? He's a stand-up candidate. But again, that doesn't mean that somebody's approach doesn't seem like it could be better. And I don't know, it just, that type of mindset where it should be all of us collectively trying to work towards a better future, whatever. That to me was like, we've just gotten so bogged down with let's try to tear apart the other side that it's a little frustrating. And so that's one reason. That's a long drawn out reason. I'm sorry, but that's one reason, you know, a couple of reasons maybe as to why I think 4th of July is underrated. Again, it's like the peak of summer holidays, right? Like, what are you doing for the 4th, you know? And if at the very least, it can be a time where you get together with people you enjoy spending time with and taking advantage of that to the fullest, right? Just making it simple, right? Have some hot dogs. You don't have to shoot some fireworks off if you don't want to. Go to the lake. But just appreciate, and that's the other thing, you know, look what's going on in Ukraine, or look what's going on in Israel, Palestine. Like, it could be a lot worse. Like, we're too busy fighting each other when we can't just sit back and appreciate that, you know, as messed up as a gift as it is, like, appreciate the fact that you are fighting with each other, with Americans. Like, you're not fighting for your life from invaders or from people that want to destroy the entirety of your country. So yeah, I'll say 4th of July is underrated. A couple others that aren't on the list that I just want to throw out there, just because why not? We got to put Halloween on the list because it's just such a goofy, if you do something, if you really want to look up the history behind a holiday, like look up the history behind Halloween. To me, it's one of the most interesting holidays in the way that it's progressed to what it is today. So I'm going to say Halloween is, I'll say it's underrated. I mean, there's so many things. You don't have to be into like the haunted houses and the spooky, scary stuff. Like, again, it's just a weird, very American holiday. It's just strange. And America's really weird. We're really strange. So I'll say Halloween is underrated. Another one, Arbor Day. Okay. Arbor Day. I have no idea when it is. But I will say it's underrated because Arbor Day is like tree day. So come on, we could always use some more trees. I remember when I don't know if I was in high school or college or what, but I donated to like the Arbor Day Foundation once. And as a thank you, I don't know if it was just in junk mail that I randomly got the letter asking for a donation or what I did, but randomly I donated to the Arbor Day Foundation. They sent me 12 like legit baby trees in the mail, planted the trees. I didn't, like, maybe 2 of them survived. I don't know. But ever since then, like, I get the thing every year and they're like, yeah, if you donate, we'll send you some more plants and stuff. And so, I mean, give it a shot. Arbor Day, underrated, I'll say. All right. Wrapping this up, let me just take a quick pass through on how many I overrated and underrated. So overrated, we have Columbus Day, Veterans Day, New Year's Eve, Easter, Juneteenth. So we had 5 that were overrated. I had, let's see, 5 overrated. And how many were underrated? We had 1, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, President's Day, Mother's Day, Memorial Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Halloween, Arbor Day. So I had 10 that were underrated. And then 1 that was properly rated. And which one was that? Martin Luther King Jr. Day, I said was properly rated. So I will give you guys my top 3, my favorite holidays. If you haven't noticed throughout this episode, when I hit on it, it's my favorite. Christmas, definitely by far Christmas. Geez, I'm gonna go with Christmas. And oh my gosh, I almost have to. I think it'll change. I think down the road it'll change, but I'll say boringly, number 1, Christmas, number 2, Thanksgiving, number 3, Halloween. Again, I just love fall and like winter. And so like having all those holidays together, and they're all quite different. Thanksgiving and Christmas kind of, you know, intertwine a bit. Like again, Halloween is just so freaking weird that, yeah, I'll throw that there. If I had a wild card favorite holiday, let's do, honestly, I think I'll say, no, would it be a ripoff to say 4th of July on the 4th? Geez, I don't know. A wild card holiday. Let's go with wild card. I'll say Labor Day. I'm gonna just go out there. We'll say Labor Day is my wild card because A, I get it mixed up with Memorial Day all the time. But B, like I'm finding this newfound appreciation for it because it's like, again, it's kind of like the last holiday of summer. So I'll give Labor Day. I'll give Labor Day my wild card. And then how about this? We'll do least favorite holidays. So my most favorite was Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween. My wild card is Labor Day. And my least favorite, oh my gosh, I forgot another holiday. I forgot 2 holidays, you guys. See, this is what I'm telling you. I don't do the scripted. So let me overrate and underrate a couple other holidays. Valentine's Day and Groundhog's Day. I can't believe I was going to talk about Groundhog's Day too. Valentine's Day, overrated. I mean, it's a cute idea, like getting to like a specific day to be romantic and stuff, but come on, like we probably should just do better. And plus the Valentine's candy and stuff. It's cool when you're a kid, like in school, and you get to pass out the little Valentines. Like that's a fun time. But I think it's become such like a money grab, like restaurants and stuff, like just taking advantage of the situation. And then Groundhog's Day, I'm going to say is underrated because again, this is one of the most American holidays I can ever think of. Like I don't know the history behind this one, but what made us just decide like Pennsylvania, we're going to rip a groundhog out of the ground. And if he sees his shadow or not, then we're going to know if we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. Like it is the most random, obscure holiday. But between the holiday itself and Bill Murray's movie titled Groundhog Day, like I'm all for it. Sign me up for Groundhog Day. Punxsutawney Phil, like love to meet the guy. So yeah, there we go. So my least favorite holidays, I guess let's go with, I'm gonna say New Year's. I will say New Year's is my least favorite holiday. And then from there, I have to say Easter, you guys. I really like, I'm not a springtime person. So I think that's really the big reason. So we'll leave it at that. I'll give you two of my least favorites. So all in all, out of the list I covered, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Out of the 18 holidays we covered today, I said 6 were overrated, 11 are underrated, 1 is properly rated. My favorites would go Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween with a wild card of Labor Day. My least favorite are New Year's and Easter. And, you know, I appreciate you guys listening. Curious to know what your guys' favorite, least favorite holidays are, what you thought about overrated, underrated. And yeah, we will catch you guys on the next one. But if you guys didn't catch it in my last episode, at the way end, I was telling you that I want to make sure that you guys, at the very least, you need to